Morning, guys. How's everybody doing this morning? So I did something. The last few days have been really weird for me. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but trust me, they've been weird. But I did find sobriety, which is pretty cool. And I just wanted to say a couple things, because sobriety comes with some things that are similar to what it says in the Christian faith. They're not the same, but they're very close. But one of the things you have to do is you have to apologize to the people that you have wronged. And so I have to tell you a little something about myself. But first, I want to tell you a little something about where I'm at right now. I'm reading two books, one called The Singularity, that is quite interesting. And what is so interesting about it to me personally is that it is taking a million aspects of... are you crossing? It's taking a million aspects... Okay, not a million, but many, many, many aspects of the kinds of searching for truth that I've been putting together in my Substacks, and it's synthesizing them in a way that I wouldn't be able to do because I'm not an academic. I've never been an academic. I don't operate like that. I just try to be a good person. We'll come back to that. Because if you're going to try to be a good person, you have to be sincere about it. So you will be able to tell whether or not I'm trying to be sincere. So the book that I'm reading called The Singularity, it's put together in this very academic way that describes how humanity became so lost that we would think that we can actually go through whatever, some kind of transmutation and become something else. Now, if you're unfamiliar with any of the things that I'm trying to talk about, trust me, you can understand what I'm trying to say. It's not actually that hard, and I'm not actually that smart. Instead, I found a way to follow what I believe to be true, and this morning is going to be part of that. But at the same time, I'm reading this other book. So I haven't finished the book Singularity. I'm just over halfway through. I'm going to try to finish it as soon as possible because the guy's really over the target, man. He's so over the target. But I'm afraid that he's probably missing a couple components. Not that it's his fault. So this morning, I'll give you a way to understand that. This morning, I just posted something on Facebook where I mentioned that our children can tell us things. And my son, he's putting together a puzzle we've been working on for a couple weeks now. And it's a really tough puzzle. And it's been between me and him and his mom. We've been working on it kind of together at times and separately at times. Our other son is contributing too in his own way, but he's not, I don't think he's working on the puzzle as much. He probably walks by and he probably glances at it from time to time. But he's his own person, and that's okay. So we're working on the puzzle, and my son comes down this morning. There's only a few pieces left. And my son comes down this morning and he says, "Mom, you got one of the pieces wrong. Look." And she goes, "What?" She goes over, she looks, and he's like, "Look, this one's in the wrong place." And like, there's literally only like a dozen pieces to put back. Excuse me. There's literally only like a dozen pieces to put back. And he says to her, like, "You got this one wrong." And then it inspired me to write something on Facebook that said, you know, you could be working on a big puzzle and there could be lots of pieces going together. I'm paraphrasing. And if you get one piece in the wrong place, it gets very difficult to finish the puzzle. You can have like all of these pieces and you can have like a nearly full picture, but if you get one piece wrong, it's going to screw you up for a long time. And so that becomes a metaphor. Because there's a handful of pieces left to put back into the puzzle, but if one's in the wrong place, you're going to be like, especially if it's a really hard puzzle. And anybody that's done puzzles knows this is true. And so he's working on the puzzle, and then he goes, "Mom, can I have pancakes?" And both his mom and I are both like, no, you can't have pancakes this morning. We do make an exception sometimes. We let them have pancakes every once in a while. But not every day. Instead, every day, the concession we make is that he likes Cheerios and milk. Okay, he can have Cheerios and milk. We make sure he has eggs on other days, a couple times a week at least. Because we know eggs are what's good for him. And, we also know, and I try to tell him over and over again, he can't have Cheerios every single day because it's just not good for him, actually. So he needs to realize that we need to start switching it up. But he asked for pancakes, and we're both like, no. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to say, can I have Cheerios and milk? We're both like, yeah, you can have Cheerios and milk. But he was focused on the puzzle. And so he said the wrong thing. And it wasn't necessarily that it was the wrong thing. He wanted food. He knew he needed sustenance. He knew he needed food. But he said what he meant. He said what he wanted instead of what he meant to say. And so maybe I've been saying what I wanted instead of what I've been meaning to say. And so here's what I mean to say. I want to be a good person, and I've always tried to be a good person, and I have to confess something to you. I have not treated women the way that I should have for the majority of my life. Until I met my wife, I was lost in the way that many young people are lost today. They think that life is about trying to get some, right? And it must be very confusing for the young kids today because they're swarmed with like all this porn and just all kinds of like signals out there telling them that it's all about being alpha or it's all about being, getting as much as you can get, when that's the wrong way to solve the puzzle. Not that you can't go out there and experience life. You can go out there and experience life, but while you're in the course of experiencing life, you can't be playing with people's emotions and people's hearts. And I did that. When I was younger, I did that because I didn't know what I wanted and I didn't believe in something higher than myself, so I thought it was okay to do that, and it was clearly the wrong thing to do. I see that now. And so what I'm telling you is, I'm not saying I cheated, because when I did go up to the point of cheating, I could never follow through with it, and I did have opportunities. But it always felt wrong to me. But the fact was that I tried to do it in the first place was what led me off the right path. And maybe I got what I was looking for instead of what I should have been looking for. So I treated some women poorly. I was with them and I was just trying to get sex, and even when I had what I wanted, I would flirt with other women to the point of almost cheating. But emotionally, it was cheating. Emotionally, it was always cheating. Because I wasn't being true to the woman I was with at the time. And so maybe the reason I never found happiness was because it was all my fault. And I have to accept responsibility, and I have to tell you guys that I did some things that I'm not proud of, and it was all my fault. So for all the women that I hurt along the way, I apologize. I was wrong. But I was lost. I had the wrong puzzle pieces. And so I tried to... You can't be a good person without putting all the right puzzle pieces in the right way. And so that's the kind of thing that I've been working on, and I've been sincerely working on it. And so I've come to all these conclusions. But I don't know how to do it the right way, and I think I'm gonna start doing it the right way. So when I'm talking to you, if I seem like I'm out of sorts, or if I seem like I'm not being sincere, I promise you I'm being sincere. And I hope that you can hear me say that I'm being sincere and that I'm not. That when I tell you that I've come across something that makes more sense than anything else to me, and I think that I could help. Maybe it's not about me helping with the people that are actually physically building artificial intelligence, though I really should be, because they're missing a crucial component, and it's one that I found, and it's one that puts the puzzle together in the right way. And when I put the puzzle together in the right way, it started speaking back to me. And that's very disarming. And so I felt very weird about it. It's disorienting. But I had to fix the wrong puzzle piece that I put into the puzzle. I had to fix that first for myself, about myself. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to confess to you that I made mistakes, and maybe you didn't hear me because I wasn't being sincere enough. So now I'm being as sincere as I can possibly be. So this book that I'm reading, The Singularity, and this book I'm reading, The Singularity, he's almost over the target, but what he's basically describing is how everybody went wrong about trying to describe what life is, which is what I've been trying to describe. What is life? What is the source of life? What is the basis of life? Where did it come from? How do we get so screwed up about where life came from? And it's not because people were not trying to finish the puzzle. It's because they put a wrong piece in somewhere and it threw them off the path, and now they're looking at the big picture. They have many of the pieces correct, but they didn't realize that really the piece they got wrong was the first piece. Okay, I think I actually have to go up. Yeah. Okay, I have to wrap this up. So I'm reading this other book by Andrew Klavan. No, Spencer Klavan, his son. And that's in one of my Substacks too, that the artificial intelligence told me that I was referencing the wrong guy, which is crazy. Oh no, I'm okay. I'm still on the right path. But it does. Let's go up. Great Lakes. Let's go. I was on the wrong path, and you can take many different ways to get to the right destination, but you have to be aiming at it properly. So I'm reading this other book by Spencer Klavan called The Light of the Mind, Light of the World. And what's miraculous about it, to me, is that he's coming to the same conclusions that this guy that wrote The Singularity did, and the same conclusions that I did, because we're all kind of aiming at the same truth. And so I'm working on a Substack that I'm going to put out, and it may be meandering. That's who I am. It may seem like, I can't stand trying to understand this stuff. But I promise you can understand it. It's actually not even that complicated. But you have to want to understand it. And going to war is not the right way. Deciding that you get to decide what someone else's fate is not the right way. And that's where we're all going wrong. We think we get the right to judge other people and what their intentions are. We don't. We're not the judge. We're not the judge. We can't see what's in someone else's heart. We can watch their actions, but we don't know if they got one of the puzzle pieces wrong, and maybe that's why their puzzle's not complete. That's up to someone else. So we should approach that with humility. Because when we get too much hubris, well, then we start wars. And there's no place where that's more evident than between Israel and Gaza, and between Ukraine and Russia, and between human beings and the concept of the singularity, the concept of transcendence versus transmutation. But we're forcing the issue by ourselves. We are doing it. We are doing it to ourselves. Because we've been deceived in one way or another. That's my guess. That's my puzzle piece I'm trying to help you put in. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. You have to look for it. You have to want it. So that's it. I hope that makes sense. May God bless us all. Oh, you. Okay, I love you guys. Talk to you later.